So, Mr. David, I hope you come to the Dominican Republic one day. I will show you around, but I gave your wife 100 pesos. One, so you got to come to the Dominican Republic to spend that.
Well, we might need a little more than that.
It's so many white people I have met playing baseball, because if I wouldn't have played baseball, I wouldn't have had the opportunity to live with people.
Yeah.
White
When I
people.
was 8 or 10, I went to a camp up in the mountains, the Appalachians, for a nature camp. And there was a black kid there who was from Chicago, and we really hit it off.
Awesome.
And, so we hung out together. And later, my family was doing a road trip across country. He didn't really live in Chicago. He lived in one of the suburbs. Anyway, we stopped and visited them.
Oh, that's awesome.
It was fun.
Did your parents ever talk about different cultures and different ethnic groups like blacks and Hispanics?
My mother was really involved in the labor movement and also somewhat involved in the civil rights movement.
Awesome.
I remember, standing in line holding up signs. I don't remember what it's for. I was a little kid.
Right.
But my parents taught us a lot of those old Union songs like Joe Hill. So it's more of a cultural difference.
Yeah, it
not
is.
a racial difference.
Right. Now, I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
My mom, when I was younger, I don't know how old I was, but being in Louisiana, I remember that my mom was really into getting the governor, Edwin Edwards, elected because he was running against David Duke. So
Right.
my mom would
The KKK guy.
the Klanman, yeah. And my mom would load me in the car, and we would go around and get people registered, people that had never registered to vote. And I guess I was a part of that. That reminds me. And he was the Grand Wizard. David Duke was the Grand Wizard of one of the Grand Wizards of Louisiana. And
I remember.
you remember that?
I think that might have been after we lived in New Orleans.
Okay.
Well, we definitely heard about it.
Yeah.
I was so glad that he didn't get elected.
Oh, my goodness. And,
Edwin Edwards had a lot of
Yeah.
bad traits, but he was so much better than David Duke.
Yeah, and you either had to pick the crook or the Klansman, and he was Edwin Edwards. I think he got caught with embezzling money or something like that. He did some time in prison. But, it was a no-brainer. But the thing that really got me was that David Duke almost won, and being from Louisiana,
All those people who liked him, yeah.
yeah, it's just amazing. Like, and then I played baseball, and I was with white people all the time, and I would be in the baseball field, and I would be thinking like, man, I wonder if my coach voted for David Duke. I wonder if the people I stayed with last night, I wonder if and that would just play back in my head, and I'm like, why would you vote for a Klansman that hates black people and that hates people? But it's just Louisiana and Mississippi. It's really different, and that's why I was wondering if you knew, since you're moving here, do you know anything else about Louisiana? Well, let me tell you something, since you told me a little bit of history. We have some celebrities here in Baton Rouge, and one of them is named Lil Webby.
Is he a rapper?
Yeah, rapper. He's Lil Boosie, and Fox, and and Kevin Gates. They're all from around here. And have you ever heard of any of those people?
I don't listen to very much rap music.
No, that's good.
I've listened to a little, and some of it I liked, but
yeah,
not
it's
much.
Some of it is horrible. But that's the culture I grew up in, and but I also I listened to a lot of country because I played baseball. So I listened to Garth Brooks. I listened to my first concert I ever went to was Reba McEntire's concert.
Well, I would say of all the country singers in the world, she's one of the few who's kind of crosses boundaries,
I really
and
love
she's really good.
And Dolly Parton, she's awesome also.
Yeah, and she's awesome as a person too.
Yes, she is. She does a lot of stuff. I went to Dolly World don't tell anybody, but I went to Dolly World. I got a chance to see the boobs up and close and person. Anyway, that's a different story. So, yeah, go ahead. You were about to say something.
I was going to say that I didn't go to Dolly World. When my mother was sick, she was living in Tennessee, and we were in Alabama. And so about every other weekend, we'd drive up there, and to reward our daughter for putting up with the long car ride, when we came back, we'd stop at Gatlinburg, which I think is very close to Dolly World.
Yeah, it is.
But we never went to Dolly World. We went to the outlet malls and a restaurant or two. And
there's so many white people I have met playing baseball, because if I wouldn't have played baseball, I wouldn't have had the opportunity to live with people, white people in New York, and white people in North Carolina, and I think it was called guest homes or something, because you could actually, we wasn't making a whole bunch of money with the Yankees, so they would have houses that they would have set up, and you can actually live. And all of the people that I lived with when I was in the minor leagues, they were white, and I ate all kinds of different food. I learned different culture. My point is, you have so many awesome white people. You have so many awesome black people. You have horrible black people. You have horrible white people, horrible Hispanic people, and good also, and awesome Dominican people. But you really have to be careful about color and who's a good person and who's a bad person.
Well, I have to say that there are some black geologists, but not very many. And this, I don't know if this is true, but it was explained to me this way, that geology is all about doing things outdoors, and it sort of reminds black people of having to work in the fields, and they just don't want to do outdoor stuff. They want to do indoors, high status stuff.
Right.
Like I said, I have no idea if that's true.
But that's what you have heard, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, a person told me that.
I got you.
I mean, every geologist knows there aren't very many black geologists, but that's the only explanation I heard as to why that would be, because, it's a fun thing to do. And I guess the most popular science, if you want to be a scientist, hands down, is biology, because it's all about us and the animals that we know and the plants that we know and the ones we don't know. So it's very easy for a teenager who wants to be a scientist to decide to be a biologist. And as a result, there are millions of them, and a lot of them can't find jobs.
Do you think people, just not just black or white people, just people in general in the United States, have they gotten lazier as far as like just wanting things like that microwave mentality? Do you see that?
Everybody says that. Well, maybe young people don't say it, but all the older people say it about the young people. I don't know. I don't want to say that, because I feel like I'm pretty lazy when I don't want to do something. And it is true that it's very easy to get used to doing things the easy way, like using a microwave. And, the people who get all their food from the microwave or a fast food place, they couldn't have done that 50 years ago. But it's a convenience. It's valuable to be able to heat up leftovers in just seconds. Or
can you give me any advice on a relationship? Because I just started dating this girl, and her name is Dominga, and she has all the traits that I am looking for. She's not a jealous person. She's free spirited. She loves my YouTube channel. And give me some pointers on you being married so long, and what's some of the key things?
I don't know. I think I was lucky, but I would say that you need to get to know the other person and find out if they're a good person. Do they care about people? Do they want to work hard? Whatever. You should think of things that you think are important, that everybody should be like, and see if she has any of those traits. I mean, obviously she's not going to be perfect, but you want her to have some strong good traits. And
How much time should I sit on that and try to figure it out?
well, I don't know. We got married when we had known each other for a year.
Okay.
I know some people who go 10 or 15 years before they get married.
Yeah.
And up until then, they're together, but they haven't taken that last step, which doesn't bother me at all.
Right.
I think there's a lot of reasons to not get married.
Really?
And there are a lot of reasons to get married.
Yeah.
My father and my stepmother were living together for 25 years, not married, and they finally decided to get married because he was older, and she wanted to be able to make decisions about what to do with him if he became ill, and of course it will work the other way too, because if you're living with someone and you're not married with them, then no official agency has to give you any decision-making authority.
That's right.
So it's important, if you want to stay with that person, that you're able to protect them from stuff like that.
Let's go look at the fossils and the ones that you want to show me, and
Okay.
we'll move from there.
Like you doing something. I ain't doing shit.
All right.
Oh.
Good. You can go ahead and go.
All right. You owe me $20.
Wait a minute.
And Barbara,
Tell me about this.
it's called Gogia spiralis. Do you know what a crinoid is? They're called sea lilies.
This is a sea. Oh, okay.
They're animals, but some of them at least live fixed on the seafloor, and they have a stalk, and then the head part with all the arms, that's where the main part of the body is.
Wait. Start over, Mr. David. So this was
This is an ancestor. It's about let's see, 520 million years old.
Wow.
And I found it in the state I was doing some geological research, and I knew they were there because somebody told me that they had been studying them, and so I went to the place where they said you could find them, and I found a few little pieces, and this one, which is almost complete.
Wow.
And it's really neat because you can see all the little pieces that make up the exoskeleton,
Right.
and the little arms are spirals, which is unusual, and that's why its species name is spiralis, because it's got spiral arms.
So, what family is it a part of, you think?
Well, it's an echinoderm, like a sea urchin, a sea biscuit,
Okay.
starfish, crinoids, which most people have never seen because the modern ones live on the seafloor and not in really shallow water.
Okay.
Sea cucumbers, which they don't have an external shell, but they're actually related.
Really?
Well, for that matter, starfish don't have an external shell either.
How much could I get for one of these if I would find one of these? You know,
Well-
how much could I sell it for? Would somebody buy it for like a $500,000 or something?
Most fossils that are really cool are not valuable in dollar amounts. If you went to a rock shop or a rock show, then you'd get an idea of what they sell for retail.
Okay.
And, little shells and things, even if they're very rare, they're just not that exciting to the rich collectors.
Gotcha.
It's like art. If a lot of rich people think that my grandfather's painting is worth a lot because he was a great artist,
Right.
then it'd be worth a lot.
Right.
But they don't think that.
Right.
They don't even know about it.
Right.
So it's really not worth anything unless somebody just thinks it's
What
pretty.
what valuables usually go, like is it coins or it's not fossils? So you just taught me something. Fossils really don't go for so much.
Some kinds of fossils, yes.
Of course, like a dinosaur
Right.
fossil.
If you find a complete skeleton of a dinosaur or something else really weird looking that even isn't a dinosaur, then you can sell it to a rich collector to put on the wall in their living room for up to millions.
Wow.
But I personally feel like it would be better to either sell or donate it to a museum. You wouldn't get anywhere near as much money, but
Right.
then everybody could see it
The National Weather Service has issued a special weather statement.
I hate it when they don't tell you what it's about.
Right.
Of course, we know the storm's coming.
Right,
but,
right.
If it's in the museum, people can see it, and anybody who wants to can study it, and it will be there, for a long time.
That's nice for people to see, but what if, you know how cool I would be if some people would come to my house and see a dinosaur bone?
Oh, well, a dinosaur bone is one thing. Like, you can go and collect fossils lots of places.
Mm-hmm.
And whether they're worth any money or not, some of them are really beautiful or interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've got, most of these things aren't fossils, but I have quartz crystals that I collected. And that's a scallop shell that I think my father collected. He had it anyway.
That's awesome.
And this reddish brown rock is from a sinkhole in Tennessee that I collected.
Oh, wow. This one here?
Right.
Yeah.
Right there.
Wow.
And I forget what else is here. Well, that's just a seashell, but it's really neat too.
Mr. David, you're missing the whole point. I'm trying to see how I can find some fossils so I can become rich. I'm just saying.
Well, you can't. I mean, if you took it seriously and went to places where, whole fossil skeletons were found, where you were allowed to collect, you might find one. You might find more than one. You might get rich, but it's like panning for gold.
Okay.
You might get rich, but most people who pan for gold do it because it's fun, and they find a little tiny bit and they put it in a little vial or something, and they show their friends, this is gold that I found, and it's cool. But
that's cool.
It's not enough. It's not as much gold as is in a ring.
Gotcha.
I mean, I mostly write dark stuff, but I can read this one.
All right. And I want to talk about what I got out of it when you finish. Can you show the front cover of that one really? Just hold it up just a little bit. There you go. There we go. Okay, perfect. Okay.
So you think that would be better? Or you want this one?
That one is fine.
Okay. It's called Devonian or Bust. And the Devonian was a time period that was about 400 million years ago, give or take. So a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
And the poem is set in the present day.
In present, okay.
They buy sturdy stuff, entrenching tools, canoes, knives, and tents. No camp stoves. They pay with absolutely pure gold. Take lots of photos of people, animals, flowers, forests. They don't stay long. I hear things. The nutritional value of bryophytes, net versus spear fishing, how long to boil trilobites, the best designs for solar ovens. They never buy grills when their going is before wood, before coal, before oil. They know our future and they don't stay long. They know, but no one's talking. Tight grips on their kids and eyes on their watches. I can see their fear. My cousin went with the last group. One bailed, went native in New York City, they say. So they had room. They didn't tell her much, but the way she said goodbye, I know it's more than just the 360 million years. Make each day count, she said. Something's coming. So not really a love poem, but
No, that was great. But what I got out of it was that I just got like they were a close-knit family out of it. And then someone separated from them.
well, they're time travelers from the future.
Okay.
And something has made them flee. They're refugees. And they stopped off in the 21st century for whatever reason, and they're buying supplies. And they're not saying what's wrong, but they must be from not too far in the future, because they keep looking at their watches like they need to know what time it is.
They have to go.
Right.
Okay.
They have to go.
Okay.
And his cousin gets to go with him.
So did this cousin stay? Or did...
Yeah, they're going to the past to stay. I mean, because whatever happens in the near future, it happens then. And it affects everything after that. Like, so if there's a war or a giant meteor impact or anything, it's the future that gets affected, and the past is already past. So they're going back to become like permanent campers.
Gotcha.
Basically.
Gotcha.
They decided that was better than suffering through whatever was going to happen.
Whatever was going to happen.
Yeah.
That's interesting. You got one more for me?
Sure.
Like you doing something. I ain't doing shit.